Hi, everybody. I'm Mark Walters of bigfanboy.com, and I'm here at the Dallas International Film Festival 2013 edition. And my first interview of the day, I'm very happy to be here with Kellan Lutz, who is the star of Java Heat. Thanks for coming out to Dallas, first of all. I know you're no stranger to the city, and it's always great to have you come through here and promote whatever you got going on. And this was really fun. I really enjoyed this. We talked on the red carpet last night about it reminds me a lot of like these great 1980s buddy cop movies, and which is something we just don't get anymore. And I would imagine that the fun factor for something like this, it just never stops. I mean, because it's energetic and just kind of a fun character to play.
You said it all yourself,
Okay,
Mark.
done.
I love
That's
you.
the end of the
You
interview.
make it so easy. Yeah, like you said, you can make an action movie just full of effects and explosions, and good guy chasing the bad guy. But what really drew me to the project, like you said, in the 1980s, buddy cop movies where you have that yin and the yang. You have, well, especially with my character Jake, I am the bull in the china shop, where I don't care about the consequences. I don't think about that. I just do what I think is right. And Hashim, played by Ario, his character is one who actually thinks about the repercussions and the consequences that may arise, and actually is smart because it's more work. If you don't just take a second to think, what's the shortest point between 2 points, the straight line, versus Jake's, he just goes everywhere to try and chase Malik. I love the script. It was very smart, and just being a part of it, brought me here. So I love Dallas.
It's got that fun fish out of water thing too, because the Indonesian setting, which is very interesting, because I mean, especially in American films, you don't really get a lot of exposure to that. And it seems like in the last couple of years we got The Raid, which was so much fun, and obviously with Connor and Rob, these guys are no stranger to working in Indonesia, and so talk a little bit about just that element of it and what that was able to sort of bring to the production of the setting.
Shooting in Indonesia, well, it's real. It's a real city, and for me, especially playing a character like Jake, who is traveling around the world trying to catch Malik and seek his revenge for Malik killing his brother. You kind of get that lost puppy sense where you are in a foreign place trying to act like you fit in, and you really don't. And I felt like that was easy to play because I had never been to this side of the world, and I love traveling. So for me, all the new experiences from the warriors and the tiger ladies, everything we saw, I saw firsthand the realism of it that we were depicting in the movie. And Rob and Connor have been living there for a few years. So in the script, it was really well written. I think some of the things, like with the traffic scenes, when Hashim's driving and you see him as reckless, it was very funny. Once you've been there, you see it in the movie, you understand that there are 7 people on a motorcycle sometimes, and there's ducks and there's cows, and it's pretty chaotic. Being there, and it's just a different culture. And if you haven't been there, I love Indonesia. I love Jogja and Java and Jakarta, but Borobudur Temple is one of the most beautiful places I've ever seen.
Yeah. I mean, the settings around it's so stunning to look at, and it's different from what we're so used to seeing in those types of films. Now, I know the guys were talking last night about how your work ethic, you have this crazy work ethic. You just don't ever want to stop working. You were jumping in on the second unit stuff, doing your own stunts. What drives that? In your mind, is it one of those things you want to do it all, or is it just more of a restless feeling?
A lot falls into that equation. Mainly, we were on a time crunch. I had to get back for a premiere, and you have to. When you're doing an independent movie, you only have so much money. You can't add more days to a schedule. If the weather screws with you, you have to make up for it. And either the movie's going to finish or it's not, and it's on your back. And it's your face in the movie. So do you want to skip out on one of those big action scenes on second unit because you don't have a turnaround time, because legally you need a certain amount of hours turnaround and sleep, or you sacrifice your sleep to 2 hours and you get that scene. And I love action movies, and there's no way I'd want to sacrifice blowing something up for sleep. So it was great, and it fuels you.
Yeah.
Fuels you. Unlike Twilight, being a part of Twilight, it was a lot of sitting around, so you get tired. But on a movie like Java Heat or a big action movie where you're the lead, you're never sitting down. You're constantly moving, or going from second unit to first unit, and just pushing yourself.
Yeah, it was really cool having you guys be a part of Dallas International Film Festival, especially for the opening of the movie. Let's talk about that crowd last night and how energetic those guys were. It seemed like everybody was just really, into it. And I mean, I think that like when you go to a late night movie like that, and especially having a Q&A late at night, it really does it's a different sort of feeling, I guess, than like a normal premiere, right?
Yeah, yeah. I've done a few Q&As, and I tend to always love the ones where beverages are served and they're later in the evening, where people
Some
are just
beverages
loose.
Are
Are
dropped.
dropped.
Yes.
Mazel tov. Yeah, it's just very. It's fun when people can just be themselves and have a fun time and not feel, like they have to keep their tie tight and they have to, be pretentious or act a certain way. Where that's why I love Dallas. I love Texas, and people are just so real and organic here.
Yeah, it's a different personality. It's a different mentality, I think, people have, especially when it comes to film as well. We talked a little bit last night on the red carpet about you've got Tarzan coming up, and that's later this year, right? So
Yeah, October, I believe.
this
Yeah.
year. Talk a little bit about the whole motion capture thing. Was that kind of a weird thing to get involved in?
Very much. I'd never done anything like that, and I loved it. I loved it so much. I wish I could do every movie motion capture. And I'd studied a little bit at Blur Studios down in Venice just to see what it was. Because I've always wanted to be in a video game. I've always wanted some game to have them analytically create my face in a game. So doing Tarzan, I didn't know it was motion capture. So when I auditioned, I was acting it all out. I was wearing underwear because I don't have a loincloth, and I had my wig on. And then, I got the part. They told me it's motion capture. I'm like, all right, great. Still had no idea what that meant. And then I did some research, went to Blur. But then being there, there's no hair, there's no makeup. I worked, probably, I did so much. Like, we would do maybe 8 pages and probably like 25 scenes a day. Just because it's quick. You have so many cameras around you. You have about 56. I think we had about 56 capturing every movement. So you never had to, reset up. You had your helicopter shot. You had your crane shot. You had your close-ups. And it's an action movie. Tarzan does more action than he does speaking. And again, there's no hair and makeup. You just wear the suit. You have the dots on you, and you act. It's very much theater in the round, which I've never done, always wanted to do, and feel like it'd be a great experience to do one day.
Well, and I imagine as an actor, then you're focusing a lot more on body language for that, as opposed to, like, it's not so much about how you emote facially or whatever. It's more about your body telling the story.
Well, everything.
Yeah.
Everything. Body way more than I'm used to.
Yeah.
Because, especially with film, you have so many different close-ups and wides. But with the motion capture, it's capturing everything. So when you think the scene's done, you're still in frame. So you still have to be, veering after Jane when Jane's out by herself and just lock in a character. Because once you break that, then it'll screw up all the computerizations.
Is it also kind of weird wrapping your head around the fact that you're playing such a classic, iconic character? I mean, the Edgar Rice Burroughs, there's such a huge following for that. And I mean, is there any pressure that comes with that?
I watched probably every Tarzan movie out there. I put a lot of pressure on myself.
Yeah.
And then once I got on set and I spoke with Reinhard, the director, it just all went away.
Yeah.
It was just, it's, and I love what I do. I'm very passionate about acting. But playing Tarzan was a dream job just because I really looked up to the guy. Him in a very few gatherings of characters who I just grew up always wishing I could be them when I grew up, and that was one of them. So everything just felt so surreal that I had this opportunity. So I put all this pressure, and then doing it just all went away, and I loved it. I really embraced it. We had Peter Elliott, the movement master, teaching me how to be an ape, and it's just a great experience. It was well organized, and the train ran so smoothly.
Did you have to master a Tarzan yell?
I did.
Yeah.
Well, we had to change it a little bit because it's copyrighted.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
so it couldn't
it's
be.
not going to be the standard.
It couldn't be.
Yeah.
As much as, and that's what I was practicing.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh no, we can't do that. So we had to make our own.
Okay, interesting. And then you also said you're going to be in Bulgaria for like 5 months.
Yeah.
shooting a movie. Can you tell us a little bit?
Yeah, another dream come true. So I loved Tarzan, Mowgli from the Jungle Book, Hercules, and He-Man, and a bunch of Marvel and DC characters, right? Like every kid in Ninja Turtles. But so Tarzan I just did, and now I get to work with Rennie Harlan, who's an amazing director. I love him.
He's great.
On the new Hercules,
Yeah.
and it's gonna be 3D, which I've done Immortals, semi Greek mythology, but I'm really looking forward to this one. The script's fantastic. It's really smart and innovative, and just to play Hercules,
Yeah, yeah.
it's
And putting Rennie's visual style on that.
Yeah.
That's got to be a really interesting thing.
yeah.
You brought up Immortals, which actually kind of does bring us back to. I did want to ask you about working with Mickey Rourke, because I know on Immortals you guys were kind of separated the whole time. So this was really your first opportunity to kind of get some one-on-one time on set with Mickey Rourke.
Yeah, and that's what it felt like. It just felt like a giant tease when you see who's all cast in a movie that you're doing, and then you read the script and you're like, yes, I get to act with this guy. You know, especially Mickey Rourke, who's a legend, and I've always looked up to and would have loved to have. You know, he's on that list of like, who would you like to work with one day? And you know, you read the script and you never really put two and two together where my character and someone else just never have a scene together.
Yeah.
And you know, when you're shooting a movie, that movie lasted about 7 months. Some people come in there for a month and then you never see them, and vice versa. Like the good guys, like with Twilight, it's like the werewolves would shoot all their things, and then the vampires would come in and they'd go. But with Immortals, I never got a chance to. I met him once in the makeup room with his 2 dogs. Lovely man, really great. And then when Java He came around, I'm like, he is perfect for Malik. He just has it. He is Malik. So we sent him the script, and we had everyone pushing it to him and see if he'd do it. And I'm just glad he did it, because it was really great to work with him. He's a great guy and very easy to work with and very fun to work with.
Yeah. What's he like on set? I mean, because he seems like such a wonderfully bizarre personality. Like what is he very method, or you know, what's his process?
It's the Mickey process. I don't know how to describe it. He would improv a lot. He would just end every little, you know, sentence that he has or phrase that he has with like some made up humorous line that obviously wouldn't be in the movie, but he did it just to get laughs from the crowd, which really worked. And he was really professional. He came on set. I had heard stories, as you do, from some of Hollywood's legends, but yeah, I think he loved it. I think he loved the project. I think he really respected Connor, and that goes a long way when you have a director who just commands respect. It trickles down, and you know, Mickey could be a scary actor to work with, and I just had fun. I killed Mickey Rourke.
Yeah, I know, it's great. You'll always be able to say that.
Yeah.
Killed Mickey Rourke in a movie. And then talking about Connor and Rob, was everything in the script, or were there certain things that they allowed you to kind of bring, you know, to your own character in that?
That's why I love independent movies, because you can add your own 2 cents, and it's not just on the paper, you'll offend the writer, say it exactly how it is. And once I got to Indonesia, a lot of things started making sense, and then a lot of things just didn't feel right for my character to do. And Connor and Rob, they were very open to any suggestions and making it feel more organic between the characters and the structure. And you know, that's what I really loved about them, and that freedom for us to make the best movie we could. And if there were questions, they were quick to answer it. And if there was no answer, you know, we were all active to find the best answer for it.
Yeah. No, I think it works really well. It's a fun flick, and you know, it's like I said, it reminds me of the movies that I loved growing up, and you know, we just don't really get those types of movies.
Which ones are those? What are your?
Like Lethal Weapon,
Yeah,
Boy Scout.
that's
those
what I
types of
loved,
films. Yeah.
and all the Lethal Weapons, and yeah, I'm glad I was able to be a part of something that, you know, paid homage to it.
Yeah, the last time I think we really got anything that was even close to this was maybe Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, and that was like 7 years ago.
Yeah, it was a while ago.
Yeah, so this was really kind of a nice little breath of fresh air. Okay, the last thing I'll ask you, and then we'll let you go, is with Twilight wrapping up and kind of that whole legacy, you know, finally sort of moving on, is it kind of a bittersweet sort of thing, like, you know, being able to get past it and say goodbye to it, but at the same time, you know, all the wonderful things that came out of it? I mean, kind of looking back on that, what are your thoughts this point?
Everything's been a blessing in my acting career because, this isn't my doing to be here. And I love it. I found a passion at the age of 18, which seems kind of late in the game to find something that you just love and you want to do for the rest of your life. And being a part of Twilight, I didn't even want to do that. And so that worked out, and then I fell in love with that. I'd been working on a project for 7 months. It's not that I didn't want to do Twilight. I just wanted to take a break. I was in Africa for 7 months. And, thank God I have a great team. And they're like, no, this is going to be it. And I'm like, all right, fine. And I respect them. And it's, you got to trust your team. And so that was a blessing. And we had 5 great years working on Twilight with an amazing cast, amazing directors. I'm obsessed with my character. And that's pretty cool to say. And to have a character that you play numerous times over and over again that you're just obsessed with. So it's again, like, it's a blessing that I wouldn't really say bittersweet because it's right here. Like, it's always with me with everything I do, the memories, the experiences, just the gratitude that I have for it. It's just sweet, man. Like, it's just sweet because it's opened up so many doors and given me so many new opportunities to create my own material. And I love action movies, so it's great to be able to create my own action movies.
Yeah, we need a new action star, man. I want you to step
An
up
American
to the
one.
plate. Step up to the plate and be our new action hero. You can be the 2000, the aughts, version of.
Hey, I'm all game for that. Expendables 3.
There you go. Let's do it.
Get a younger generation in there.
Kellan Lutz, and the movie is Java Heat. Thanks so much, guys. Keep watching movies, and we'll see you here at the Dallas International Film Festival. Take care.
I love it.
It was awesome.
Thank you.